like-minded people, kind people, people that took the time out of their day, take a day off, call out of work to go take it to the streets. Can't beat it. These are some of the best people, some real Americans, not the fake-ass Americans that sit in their quiet rural towns fantasizing about dominating people that are more vulnerable than they are. These are strong Americans, strong-minded, community-oriented. A lot of right-wingers will talk about high-trust societies, right? A sense of community. This is a real sense of community. People trusting one another, people protecting one another, people protecting their neighbors.
People are refusing to go to work. Schools and businesses are closed. The demands, right, what the people want. ICE must leave Minnesota. Congress must abolish ICE. And Renee Good's killer must be arrested. And some of the signs say, neighbors say ICE out, justice for Renee Good. And this is what solidarity looks like. Let me show you this also. This is just breaking news out of Minnesota just a few minutes ago. 2-year-old child from Ecuador who was taken into ICE custody with her father during Minneapolis traffic stop on Thursday has been ordered to be released. So I guess ICE are arresting parents and their 2-year-old kids. It's ridiculous, and that's why neighbors are taking to the streets.
You know, the Ku Klux Klan used to call themselves the Invisible Empire, and they wore masks, and they used to raid immigrant communities, much like ICE is right now. And so I think that, you know, there's like all this talk of revolution. We're the counter-revolutionaries, right? I mean, there is a minority who is trying to create a post-law, orderless, lawless society where their might makes right. And because, you know, they have guns and are willing to use them, they think they can suspend the Constitution, suspend habeas corpus, suspend civil liberties, generally speaking. And, you know, there was a memo that came out that said that they think they can break into people's houses without warrants.
It's really cold out, so, I mean, this shows a lot of courage to go out. I mean, it's seriously, this person saying it's -9 degrees. Downtown Minneapolis is packed for the anti-ICE rally, and the crowd keeps growing. And I was just checking the weather, like, live. -10 degrees Fahrenheit. If you want to check in Celsius, -23. It's really cold. It's really, really cold.
Start at 92 degrees. That's hot. Subtract 60 degrees, you get to where water freezes. Now subtract 60 more. Now you're at -28. That's cold even for Minnesota, but that hasn't stopped tens of thousands of Minnesotans to turn out to protest the abhorrent tactics of ICE. I got to get you another scene from the Skyway. It's massive. I'm so damn proud of my state.
And this shows a lot of courage of people. But, you know, this is what's going on right now. People, I guess, are putting up signs in their businesses that says we will be closed. January 23rd, ICE out of Minnesota. This is a general strike happening today in Minnesota. People are refusing to work. Schools, businesses are closed. Families are not making purchases. All in the name of a strong demand to pressure ICE out of the city. This is powerful organizing. These are some more images. This is a local radio. They say a tremendous amount of demonstrators at a rally during ICE Out Day in Minneapolis Friday, marching from the U.S. Bank Stadium to the Target Center.
This is a show of solidarity. It's a show of community. It's a show of, strength in numbers to show that we are organized, we are together, we're all one in this. This has given us motivation, kind of sparked organization within communities that we've never had before. Neighbors meeting neighbors, neighborhoods all banding together, forming groups, having community meetings, talking about what we can do to keep our community safe. And people have banded together. We're building something network of neighbors in this city that I don't think they're prepared for.
When you say that you don't think they're prepared for it,
I think they really underestimated what we can do to keep each other together, to keep us safe, and to show solidarity. They want to divide us. They want to make us feel powerless. And what we're seeing here today is that together we do have power. We have power to resist their regime. We have power to come together, to organize, to look out for each other. And they're not going to stop that. They're
scared of us.
They're scared of us. Yeah.
Status quo. Everyone donate right now.
I'm saying, all they have is force. They don't have love. They don't have the strength of community. They don't have the togetherness that we do. And, they're doing this in January. We're used to this. Like, they think this is going to scare us. We deal with this every year, the winter.
this is another Friday in Minnesota.
Exactly, yeah.
And I'll just say this, Minnesotans are cool, and it's what we all need to see, and this is what you want to see in your community and your neighbors. And it's true, it's January, it's really, really cold.
This is what resistance looks like. Your force, your fear, your power is not going to make us turn away. Get out of our state, go focus on the actual problems in our country that you're causing.
What are some of those actual problems in your life that you feel like ICE's billions of dollars in budget could go to actually address and help you or your family members, people close to you? What are some of those problems?
Abortion rights, women's rights, school education, making sure that everyone has a fair start at life, getting people out above the poverty line, giving them resources, getting them job resources, stopping homelessness, preventing people from being on the streets in the cold like this without any shelter. Why are we invading other countries? Why are we even threatening invading countries? Look at the climate, work on climate change. The list goes on. Everything but what you're putting money towards. I'm so proud of Minneapolis, the Twin Cities, Minnesota for showing up. This is how we support our community and fight back against a dictatorship, authoritarianism, and we're here to show what we can do with peaceful protesting.
And there's so many things to list, but it's important. This is what peaceful protesting looks like. This is what standing up for community looks like. And let me show you more too. This is ICE. They're having troubles with their cars. I guess someone got in a car wreck. It says, just now, ICE agents crashed their own car driving through South Minneapolis roundabout, got picked up by other agents and dropped tear gas on a crowd of hecklers as they left. But basically this shows that the ICE people, they're not locals, right? So they don't know how to handle the weather, whereas local Minnesotans do.
This mass demonstration today, why did you want to be a part of this general strike?
It doesn't even feel like a want. It feels like a need. As I was marching, I was literally crying because I'm just like, I love all these people. I'm not from Minneapolis. I'm from up north, but I've lived here a really long time and I really care about my community and I'm really afraid of the trajectory of the country.
And I think this is probably downtown. Like they said, that they were going from like the stadium to the Target. Pretty good turnout. And it's really cold and this is a great turnout. It's important. This is another local person talking.
Night after night, day after day, our streets are filled with tear gas. Night after night, people who are only coming to make sure that their neighbors are safe are being pepper sprayed and detained and arrested and held without charges. Race is on the surface, but underneath that is class. The only way you can get someone like Donald Trump, this federal government, and this courts of billionaires who stand behind them and these corporations is to affect the economy. And we are asking people all over the country not to go to work, not to go to school, and not to go shopping. And that's the only way Minneapolis will feel safe again. Getting ICE out of here, holding these corporations accountable, and people being very, very clear about where people stand and where power is. Power will always be with the people.
Absolutely. Power to the people. Let me show you some more local voices here.
Support a prolonged general strike to curb immigration enforcement actions that the Trump administration is taking.
Absolutely. I think that I was just talking to some colleagues on the way over here, and I think the way you get there is you have to do actions like this, where it is just one day. You have to build the infrastructure out. You have to get people privy to what's happening, and you have to get organized labor all on the same page. As we know, that can be difficult sometimes. But absolutely, I would support a longer general strike. And, you've seen across the last couple of years, labor unions across the country are starting to line up their contracts to end.
And that's an important thing, and it's difficult too, right? I mean, there's a lot of politics involved with this stuff. I'll just say this: if all of the labor unions were on board from various industries, to say like like a nurses union, or like the airlines. I mean, when the airlines do something, pilots or flight attendants or these things, that completely shuts down the country. Like labor protests work; they really work because it just shuts down everything, and then people start to get pissed off. And then once you start to realize, okay, why are they protesting? What's going on? And you raise concerns of the people. It works. Let's see what else this person has to say.
2028, so that we can have a general strike, an official general strike in May of 2028. So absolutely, I would support a longer general strike.
What would you want that longer general strike to call for? It's a strike for what? What would you hope to win in the end if it came to that?
Well, obviously, all of the different contracts ending at that point, I would want all the workers to get everything that they're asking for. Additionally, the abolishment of ICE. The American people have spent almost $1 trillion on ICE over the last 20 years. I think it's around $900 billion that we've spent on the Department of Homeland Security and on ICE. And that money could be going towards universal health care, universal basic income, public transit, high-speed rail.
It's funny. It's the same thing that I talk about on the channel all the time. And I always try to give you a different perspective. Like when you visit other countries, you realize like how far different the U.S. is, and not in a good way, right? Like just go up to Canada, you'll find better healthcare, better transportation, better access to schools, and head over to Europe, it's the same kind of things. Like whenever I ask people from around the world, hey, tell us how much university is and these kind of stuff, and like many countries are like university's free, and for Americans that's like, wait, what? And it's a different way of thinking about things. How if you invest in your people. Like just invest in your people, right? Whereas Trump on a daily basis, he tear downs the people by just yesterday, it was taking down an exhibit on slavery in the national parks because they want to abolish history in USA and get rid of that kind of stuff. It's good to see that other people we're all talking about the same stuff here. And let me show you this also. This is asking, I think it's a local police chief, what's going on there.
Chief, the 5-year boy was obviously taken from your jurisdiction down to Texas. Have federal authorities given you any information about what may happen?
No, Anderson, we've received no communication whatsoever regarding that child.
And I assume that's common. I mean, we saw a video of a woman being dragged out of her car. She said she was just headed to the doctor. It obviously raises questions about the level of probable cause for some of these stops and the extent to which this operation is targeted or more haphazard. What are your biggest concerns right now? I mean, we've talked now for many times, since all of this began. Where do you see this going? What are you seeing out on the streets?
Yeah. Well, I've said for several weeks that my concern has been that a tragedy would happen, and that's already passed. We've lost a human life. And as time continues to go on now, it appears that the pressure just continues to build. And my concern is that we are heading to a point that can be very explosive. These instances that you mentioned, obviously with the 5-year-old child, and I don't know what their training or policies are, but at least best practices in local policing is, number one, the safety of the child that young, and number two, trying to do everything that you can so as to not re-traumatize or traumatize that child.
It's crazy. These are our discussions in USA, is like we're talking about proper behavior and arrest of a 5-year-old kid. I mean, it's completely outrageous, all this stuff.
Everybody's got a right to live, and before this can be fair, we'll all go down to jail. Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live.
And this is dozens of local clergy block the street. And then I think some of them might have gotten arrested, which this is just part of the protest. You want to raise awareness. And it says, clergy say prayers for children and workers abducted. Police line up behind them to arrest them.
Down with deportation! Up with liberation! Up with liberation!
If we don't come out and we don't show our voices and we don't show that we care about humanity, we care about each other, then, you know, we wonder why people in the 1930s were quiet. And now with cameras and everything, we need to show that we weren't quiet. History is going to look back at all the people that didn't show up. Their grandkids are going to ask them, what were they doing? And so that's what I'm here for. And I think that's what majority of the people are here for.
So just want to let you know that you're not alone. This is what's going on in Minnesota. I can see it. You can see it too. And a lot of people can see it, and things will change. So that's what's going on. Please share your thoughts, and I'll catch you in the next video.